Revelation chapter 7. Last week we looked at mainly just the first 3 verses and kind of broke those down, and we've kind of looked at a good bit of kind of going back and putting the first 6 seals, kind of comparing them through Matthew chapter 24, and so we spent quite a bit of time there. So we're still in the 6th seal in this timeline, and again we're getting into a point in the book of Revelation where the timeline between most people is just different. It's kind of hard to figure out exactly how this timeline's going to work out. And to this day, I still struggle with putting this timeline together. And so as we kind of go with this, I stick with what I believe is kind of the orthodox view of this timeline. And there's a few reasons why I do that. It's because the wording after these things you see there in chapter 7, after this. And so what we can conclude on this is, for a fact, John is being allowed to see this in this vision, certain things happening, and saying that's what's going on with this. And so again, we spent a good bit of time on the 6th seal and understanding that the 6th seal is the sun and moon, stars going dark. That's equated to the day of the Lord, and the day of the Lord and the coming of the Lord, the rapture, the resurrection, all coming together in that event. We get to chapter 7, and there's a pause there, or a command, if you will, from the angel: don't pour out the wrath, or don't hurt the earth. And the reason I say don't pour out the wrath, because we went back last week and looked at several scriptures of how the day of the Lord, the sun and moon going dark, is the hurting of the earth. We looked at multiple scriptures and saw that the day of the Lord, the sun and moon going dark, is hurting the earth. Okay, it's going to be the wrath of God poured out. And so we get to chapter 7, and we begin to see that. So let's just run through verses 1 through 3 real quickly. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow the earth. Back to the picture of the rapture taking place. You're seeing the 4 angels with the 4 winds right there. Jesus sharing that in that same time frame of what's going on, okay? And now notice again, and that they should not blow on the earth, sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given, notice, to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And so to pause, if you will, at this time, the wrath of the Lamb is come at the end of chapter 6. Now the angel says, hang on. Don't hurt the earth until we get these men sealed, okay? The angel has the seal in chapter 2, and the angel says, don't hurt them until we seal the servants of our God in their foreheads, okay? deal with 12,000. Tribes are also out of order. And so generally it's eldest to the youngest, right? But second there, and it just kind of all out of order. And let me just run through there. So basically, I got 12,000 from Judah, 12,000 from Reuben, 12,000 from Gad, 12,000 from Asher, 12,000 from Nephilim, and 12,000 from Manasseh. Now, Manasseh is Joseph's son, okay? So now we've reached a grandson, but that's okay, because when they enter into the promised land, Manasseh gets a portion, right? Y'all remember? Manasseh got like a big portion. He's on either side of the Jordan. Y'all don't remember that? All right. So you got Simeon here. You got Levi. Now, Levi is not normally added to 12 tribes. Levi usually has a portion within each tribe because he's the priestly tribe, right? So he's normally not counted, all right? And so what you normally have in the 12 tribes of Israel is Joseph is removed, Levi is removed, and Joseph's two sons replace them, which are Manasseh and Ephraim, okay? Joseph's two sons are Manasseh and Ephraim. They replace Joseph and Levi. That's your normal 12 tribes, okay? So we have Manasseh there, but now Levi's back, Issachar, Zebulun, and now Joseph's back is gone. And Benjamin, of course, being the baby. He's the youngest, and so we're missing the tribe of Dan, and we're missing the tribe of Ephraim. So what is God telling? Who is this Israel that doesn't fit the 12 tribes? And why is that? Well, God doesn't tell us in this. Man, I thought that would be bigger. So put on your telescopic vision and look there, and that's basically the breakdown of Jacob. So I want you to see something, because this is going to be important, because we're going to test at the end of this. No, so you have Abraham and Sarah have a son, and his name is Isaac, okay? So Isaac and Rebekah have a son whose Israel, okay? Jacob's going to become Israel. His 12 sons become Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun. Through Zilpah, Gad, Asher. Through Bilhah, Dan, Naphtali. Through Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. 12 sons there, okay? And so, but I want you to remember the lineage. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel. It's going to come back in just a second. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel. So Israel technically doesn't come into existence until when? Until Jacob's wrestling with the angel of the Lord, right? That's when he gets renamed, all right? However, It's all going to go back to Isaac because of the promise to Abraham, okay? So stay with me because we're children of the promise. And I'm going to show you that because we've grown up with this mindset that everything centers on Israel. No. Everything centers on Jesus Christ. You got to get that. It does not center on Israel. It centers on Jesus, and I'm going to show you multiple scriptures that's going to take us back before Israel and Jacob and say everything centers on Isaac, okay? And compare Isaac to the seed because Isaac was the seed for Abraham, and ultimately the seed of Abraham is who? Speculation of who Dan, what happened to Dan. Dan was a very idolatrous tribe. Dan set up a false idol in their cities. They stole a false priest. They stole false idols and completely turned the nation of Dan against God and became a pagan nation. And so most people say, well, Dan's not there because they became a pagan people. Well, the same could be said for Benjamin. Have you not read Judges 19? Go back and read Judges 19 and come back and tell me what you think about Benjamin. They were a horrible people that got wiped out. They become a bunch of sodomites that just were just horrible people. And so who is this Dan? Why are they not there? Well, there's a story in Judges chapter 18 that might have some relevance. In Judges chapter 18, Dan was supposed to go in just like every other tribe when they entered the promised land and go whoop the people that had their land and run them off. Well, Dan was having problems with their people. They couldn't whoop them. So they looked up a little further away and said, there's some softer folk up there. They don't put up as big of a fight. Let's go fight those people. So they left where they were at, their promised place, and went and took on another place that was an easier battle. And so for whatever reason, whether that plays a role or not, so Dan's either not allowed because he became an idolatrous pagan people, or he's not allowed because he just didn't want to fight. He didn't want to do what God had put him there to do, and then he left. And so, but then there's another issue too. Why is Ephraim replaced by Joseph? Why does he go back? Nobody really has answers. There's just speculation and just trying to make a hypothesis based off other scripture of what happens there. Why did they come back? And so